My colleagues and I discussed an article, and I will summarize our discussion. The title of the article is The Effect of Neuromuscular Electrical Stimulation on Quadriceps Strength and Knee Function in Professional Soccer Players. Return to Sport After ACL Reconstruction. So ACL is anterior cruciate ligament. The issue here is that there is significant quadricep muscle weakness after ACL reconstruction, and this obviously affects the time it takes for these athletes to go back to their sports, if they're lucky enough to be able to do that. Neuromuscular electrical stimulation is the application of electrical current to elicit a muscle contraction. The hypothesis here for this article was to assess the efficacy and safety of neuromuscular electrical stimulation program applied to quadriceps of male professional soccer players after ACL reconstruction. The methodology consisted of taking 80 professional soccer players from Polish soccer leagues, and who had gone through the same arthroscopic surgery procedure for ACL reconstruction and the same rehabilitation program before the neuromuscular electrical stimulation was applied. The exclusion criteria were no women, no one with less than 3 years in soccer practice, no one with bone fractures in the last 2 years, no one with chronic sprained ankle, and no one with history of Achilles tendon injury. They randomized this group into 2 groups of 40 and had them go through an exercise program that included hopping, jogging, agility drills, plyometrics, cutting and pivoting drills, high-intensity aerobic and anaerobic training specific to their sport, etc. However, independent weight training exercise was prohibited. So the intervention group received sessions of electrical neuromuscular stimulation. Each session was 30 minutes long, and there were 3 sessions a day on 3 days a week. The sessions were separated by at least 3 hours. The stimulation was performed with a current which produced a strong visible motion effect. So these were electrodes applied to the quadricep muscle. The measurements included measuring the strength in Newton meters for each quad on both legs, the change in quad muscle circumference, and the range and ease of motion of the knee joint. So after 1 month of this, here's what they found. In the intervention group, on the operated side, the quadricep muscle strength increased by 28.7%, and in the control group, it increased only by 4.6%. On the non-operated side, for the intervention group, the quad muscle strength increased by 30.1%, and for the control group, it increased only by 4.6%. The quad circumference on the operated side for the intervention group increased by 1.4%, and only 0.6% for the control group. On the non-operated side for the intervention group, the quad circumference increased by 1.1% and only 0.6% for the control group. All these differences are statistically significant. P-values are well below 0.05. In terms of the range and ease of motion of the knee joint, no significant differences were found between the 2 groups. The authors also concluded that the neuromuscular electrical stimulation was safe. We think the strengths of this article are the use of the larger sample size that they had compared to other similar studies, their clear inclusion and exclusion criteria, and also they cite other studies to sort of put their findings in context. We didn't really find any limitations, although one could say that this study is so specific that it would be difficult to generalize to other populations. Overall, based on the information and data presented, we agree with the findings of this study that neuromuscular electrical stimulation helps restore muscle mass and strength in soccer players after ACL reconstruction more so than exercise alone, and that it is safe. The quality of the evidence is very good. This is a well-conducted randomized control trial.